Well, I'm I take a script, I break it down, and there's some basic things that you do with a script. You break it down into locations. You kind of figure out where everything else can be shot. Then you also break it down into actor availability. If you have a block period of, say, you get a Tom Hanks, but you have Tom Hanks for 5 weeks of your 10-week shoot, then you put him in a block period. So what happens is all the parameters are fired at you. And, okay, we only have this actor for so long, and then we want this actor, we have them for so long. And this actor can't work because they have a television show. So they have to go back and forth. And then we have, the location, which can only be shot on Saturday and Sunday. So what happens is all that data comes in. So you mess with all that data first to see how it goes. And then once the logistics of the thing is set up, then you start to see what would be best. Like, do actors work better in the morning? Do they work better at night? Jim Carrey, in the Grinch mask was, it was for him who just hates to be confined in any space. That was like putting him in prison, on a daily basis. And he couldn't wait at the end of the day to rip that thing, which took 2.5 hours to get on him in the first place. He couldn't wait to rip it off. But so we worked in his deal. Ron came up to me and said, okay, we got to work it in his deal that he can actually have time off in the middle of the week. So you work Jim Carrey on Monday and Tuesday, give him a break on Wednesday. Not only was it for his own sense, but just that makeup is harsh on skin. So you just want to give him literally his skin an opportunity to breathe. And then on Thursday and Friday, you're back at it. So there's all sorts of scenarios, but I think once you do that, then you get all that data put in, you put it all together, and then you sort of have to start thinking like how the director would think. Because one of the things that the director is going to do is ask you questions about why do you have that there and why can't I shoot that there? Or, I really like shooting that scene in the morning instead of the evening, even though it's backwards. And many directors have come up to me and said, Alder, can we shoot this movie in continuity? That's one of the things that I always think about first. Could I shoot this movie in continuity? Or could I shoot it in as much continuity as I can, given the parameters, the locations that I have to deal with? Or can I go to a location again after I've shot it out? We shot Beautiful Mind in continuity. And it was also for Mr. Crowe's, for Russell's head, just get him in a groove. He actually requested it. And we said, okay, well, we'll see, because we had to go in and out. We had to go to Princeton, then come back from Princeton. We had to go in New Jersey, then come out of New Jersey. Could we keep it? Fortunately, we were able to make it work with the odd occasion when we couldn't do it. And we would go to Russell on those occasions when we couldn't do it and say, Russell, we're faced with a situation where we have this location for this particular scenario. We can't get in any other way. Are you okay with jumping out of your and what I would do is I would show him where his character was. This is where your character would normally be, but we're jumping over here, and then we're going to come back. And he would get it. I'd say he would always agree with it, 100%. And he was happy with it because we also gave him some forewarning. It wasn't like something we were going to do the next day. We also gave him forewarning what was going to be coming up. So I think once you've done all the data, and I'm running on here, you have to sit down with the director for however long is that on a one-to-one basis. That's the most important thing about this whole thing. And show him what the schedule is and explain to him why we're doing the things we're doing, how come we're bringing in actors the way we're bringing them. You've got to be able to help him understand the logistical process. And once he understands it, he's gotten all his questions out of the way, and he understands what he's doing on a day-to-day basis, then it's rock and roll. And that's how it works. And the interesting thing is what you decide to do on how the picture is scheduled isn't necessarily what the studio had in mind. I tend not to, when I first come in, there's usually the studio has given you a set of days. This is how long it's going to take, and this is how long it's going to take because we have scheduled it. They hire someone to schedule it for them and show you what they had in mind. I actually hold off not seeing what they had in mind. I go ahead and schedule it how I think this director is going to shoot it or how I think the picture should be. And then after I look at that, then I go back to what the studio had in mind and see how off I am. But I can tell you that usually the way I schedule a picture is the way the picture really is going to be. I know, and most of the assistant directors who are of the same ilk, can tell you the picture's really 95 days. But in order to do it, the studio won't shoot a 95-day picture, they'll shoot a 75-day picture. Okay, this is what we're going to do. So that's a whole new stratagem. Whether to approach them, whether not to approach them, how to approach them. So you really pretty much, if you're good, you pretty much will have confidence that the way you schedule the picture is the way the picture will be. And that's the way I feel. I always feel that if I schedule the picture, this is the way it's going to be. So, and if it isn't, if we don't want to shoot it that way, then we have to kind of figure out what we're going to eliminate, or if we're not going to eliminate anything, what we're going to tell the studio, or the backers, the financial backers. So that becomes a whole another game plan.